Been a long time for that rematch. I know that was one that you really anticipated, a fight that you really wanted. How did it feel to come out ahead victorious on that?
I feel so relieved to have won this fight. This is a fight I've wanted for 7 years. I won exactly the way I wanted to win. You know, I'm really proud of my performance because I've been training so hard. You know, I have been doing a lot of wrestling, a lot of strength conditioning, a lot of jiu-jitsu. Thanks to my coaches, John Wood, Mike Pyle, Casey Milliken, Lorenzo, Pavlika, and Team Syndicate.
Barb loves fighting on top, so when you actually have top control in that position, do you feel like that kind of got into her psyche, and was that like the breaking point of the fight for her, do you think?
I'm not really sure if I broke her mentally. She's such a tough competitor. I wouldn't say so, but I think I'm pretty good at holding top positions, so who knows?
Coming off of that last outing that you had at the last TUF finale, I mean, getting this one here, I mean, how much, I guess, redeeming was it for you to have that W?
I feel great with finally being back in the win column.
What's more satisfying, getting your revenge in this rematch, or finally getting that UFC win?
Oh man, I really needed this win in the UFC. I feel like to validate myself for being in the UFC, but the rematch was one I wanted for 7 years. So I don't know if I can answer that question. I'm just so happy right now.
Did you feel more comfortable the second time around with this being the second fight in the UFC? You know, we talk about UFC jitters. Did you feel a lot more comfortable in the cage tonight?
I started feeling more comfortable when my coach John Wood was reminding me that I have to have pride in my effort, pride in my growth, just know that I've done all the work. So after we had that conversation, I started feeling more confident about myself.
How much do you credit your support system? We saw at the weigh-ins a lot of people cheering for you, your teammates. You really have a lot of people that care about you and want to see you succeed. How much of this win tonight goes to them?
I'm so honored to have the support of the fans and my team, and I dedicate this win to John Wood for really getting me into the UFC with his talented coaching. But everyone supports me like all the people on Earth support Goku with the spirit bomb. Sorry, this is a nerd thing, but anime fan thing. But that's how I feel pretty much. Goku gathering the energy from everybody for my final blast, and I think I evolved into my second form on this fight tonight.
At the very end, when she came over to you and you guys embraced, did she say something particular to you? It looked like she was talking to you at that moment.
Barb congratulated me on my win, and I told her back it was an honor to fight her.
Can you kind of talk about your new kind of your ground and pound viciousness? Because that 7 years ago, you're going for submissions down there. In the second round, I don't recall you really going for a submission once you got on top. It was all elbows and ground and pound. Can you just...
Yeah, ever since my fight in Invicta, when I fought Mariana Moraes, and I was hitting her, and John McCarthy wasn't stopping the fight, and I was like, I'm hitting her as hard as I can, and then John Wood taught me, okay, this is how you're supposed to finish the fight, and he taught me how to really put my weight into my elbows. So ever since then, when I got top position, I didn't want to risk going for some risky submission where I could lose top position. I just elbowed the poop out of my I gotta win. So I'd rather not I'd rather do submissions, but I want to win more. So
Watch your language.
What would be your advice to Barb at this point? Because she's kind of in the position you are now, coming into tonight 0-2 in the UFC, a really long career, and this moment's kind of eluded her. What would you say to her at this point?
As someone who has been on a 5-fight losing streak, my advice would be to try to change something up. I have no idea how she trains or who she's training with or whatever, but after every loss, I always try to make some change. Maybe train with bring in a coach to teach me something new, or travel around or something like that. So I don't know her position, but if she wants to keep fighting, don't give up. You can absolutely win. She has so much skill and strength. So good luck to her.
Just revisited the ground and pound question. I'm curious because you said you'd still rather do the submission. Was there a mental thing you almost had to break through and really be mean?
Yes, it is kind of a mental thing. My philosophy as a martial artist is that I feel like it takes the utmost skill to beat somebody without causing them pain. So that's why I like jiu-jitsu so much, specifically chokes, because you can put someone to sleep very comfortably. They just fall asleep, and there's no pain. So I think that's so cool. So I'd rather win by that method. But if I have to get paid, I'll elbow them.
Is it hard for you to push through that?
Yes, it is. It was hard to push through that, to be honest with you. So before I start every fight, just when the cage door closes, I look at my opponent and I tell myself, I'm going to win, I'm going to elbow her in the face. If she bleeds, I don't care. Like, I have to kind of psych myself up to do that.
You're more of a Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z fan?
Dragon Ball Z.
Why?
Because,
I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious.
when I was a kid, I started with Dragon Ball Z before I ever saw the Kid Goku Dragon Ball. But I was always really inspired by how the characters trained super hard for an extended time to meet the bad guys coming in. And especially I liked Dragon Ball Super and just their ascension, and Vegeta's so cool. So Vegeta is always the second best. He can never be the number one. So I always kind of related to Vegeta because, I fought for the Strikeforce title and I lost. I fought for the Invicta title, I lost. I fought for the UFC title, I lost. I was always number 2. So I kind of related to that. But someday I will be number 1.
So what is your first story arc from DVD?
Boo.
Boo?
I like
Good
that.
answer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, back to cage fighting. Where do you see yourself in the 125-pound division after losing the title fight?
I don't really understand how the rankings work because somehow I dropped in the rankings and Barb rose above me despite neither of us having fought anybody. So whatever, but I hope to rise in the rankings now, however that works, and I would like to work my way back up into title contention.
It's a pretty shallow division right now. How do you see yourself against Valentina Shevchenko?
I would just like to say on record that I'm not afraid of anybody in my weight division. So bring them on.
Right on.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.